Hey, everybody. I see the room's filling up with folks. This is going to be a fun show. You're getting a very well rested Nancy Jean. I got the flu last week. My daughter brought it home right after I did my show. And so she felt so bad. I said, okay, I'll drive you to work so you can pick up your computer on Wednesday because you're not going to be able to do work. And she said, no, I think I can do it. About 11 o'clock that night, she called me on her phone and said, can you drive me into work? I can't hardly move. So took her into work. But when I got up at 6:30 in the morning, which is the middle of the night to me, um, and I drove her into work, and we came home, and I crawled back into bed. Anyway, I had a couple of 12-hour nights this week where I was in bed for 12 hours. Um, it was, don't get it. If it's the flu that's out there, it's not a lot of fun. It's not as bad as Omicron, but it's pretty bad. Anyway, um, so I'm going to talk about the tree a little bit. I'm going to talk about the tree a little bit before we go to the questions for the day. And let's see, signs. That's the tree that I'm talking about. That tree, not the ones to either side, not the ones that are in the woods, but the one that's right in the middle that looks like it's funky and gnarly and it has bumps all over it. And I went out to visit the tree, and the tree now has a name. Its name is Hogarth. And it told me it was tired, it was going to bed for the winter, and for me to not come back. It'll be glad to talk to me about what it's doing out there once we get into the spring. And what's going on around the tree is that bare patch of grass was not there before we had the frost. It froze, it came back, and it runs beneath this tree and out the other side. And the deal about the gnarls on the tree is I was told by someone who knows a lot more about those kind of earth energies than I do, that those gnarls are a sign that that tree has been attached to a ley line. And I kept saying, well, I want to I kept getting yes with my dowsing rods that there was a ley line near me, but I couldn't get a definitive yes where it was. And then after the freeze, it showed up like that. So I went down and walked down the ley line. And the other thing I learned is that ley lines are really, really, really powerful. And if you walk on them too long, you're not going to feel very well. I went back out there when I was starting to get better, and it was basically said, you shouldn't be out here. There's so much energy flowing through this ley line. And so I stood off on the grass and I asked the energies that are out there speaking to me right now, I said, why did this show up so plainly right now? And they said, basically because you were too lazy to come out here with the dowsing rods and find it the traditional way. So we fixed it so you could see it. And it was basically an answer to my question about ley lines. So so that's kind of where that is. I've also got the table set up, but I'm going to try to make me big and it little. That's good. So I'm going to go back out there and romp around, and it's been wonderful weather here. I know on the West Coast you've been floating away where it's north and cold. It's been very north and very cold. And then you've had where it's more temperate, you've had tornadoes. We had a couple of days in the last week that were 85 degrees and lovely, except I had the flu, so I couldn't really enjoy them that much. But at least I had some nice weather to be. If you're going to be miserable, it may as well not be everything's miserable. You can open a door and get a breeze through your house. Okay, we're up to a few folks. So what we're going to talk about is these are the questions that came in when I put up the thing, and I only got two. So there's, if you have a question, please feel free to add them into the comments. And this one comes from TJ, and TJ had written me previously that her dad's house, which had been empty for a year since he died, all of a sudden the door just started springing open, even though it was locked. So finally, they went over and they nailed the door shut because I said I felt there was a male energy around there. Maybe if they made it more difficult for it to close the door, that would help. Well, anyway, right after they nailed the door shut, then the security alarm started going off when there was no one in the building. And so some relative went over and I had to shorten it because she wrote a whole long narrative on this, went over and they cut off the security system. And so she wanted to know if I thought something was in there. Girl, have you never seen Hauntings or Ghost Hunter or any of those things? This is so typical of a spirit that just wants attention. And so what you're going to have to do is, if you go to go to my website, www.crystaldirections.com. Look in the resources folder for the violet flame. And I'm going to put this under here for the whole thing. I went through a similar experience when my husband died. And then my knees were getting worse and worse and worse. And I couldn't handle, we had 18 stairs to get to the second floor. The second floor was the only floor that had a bathroom on it because it was a condo. And it finally got to me. And so I inherited some money and I had a down payment to go buy a house. And the units where I lived were selling very well. So I bought a house. I moved out, put my place in the market just as the 2008 money crunch and the whole fiasco about mortgages started. So it sat there, but we went in and we fixed it all up. We painted it. We fixed the floors. We took the carpeting up, which covered hardwoods that were absolutely gorgeous, had them done. And just, it was in good shape. And the realtors couldn't figure out why no one was buying it. I mean, they all told me, people going through, they love it. And then they kind of walk out kind of looking over their shoulders. So finally I went in with a friend of mine and we saged the whole house. And we took a little Catholic statue of St. Joseph, buried it upside down in the front garden, which is another thing that's supposed to attract energy for people to come in and buy. And then I went and sat in the house all by myself on the stairs. And I said, Bill, are you still here? Are you coming back? And he was still attaching to the house. And it had been his house before we got married. So it was, he felt much closer to it. And so I went and I said the violet flame through the whole house and requested for Bill to please leave. That it was time for him to go on. He could even follow me to my other house, but he didn't go there because it also had an energy from the previous owner, which was a lot of fun. But the house sold within a week of after we did all that stuff to it. So go look up the violet flame, read it through the house. You guys need to make a decision about what you want to do with this house. I think it's more the energy I got when I was meditating on it this morning on what to tell you exactly to do was it's more your dad doesn't like it sitting empty. He'd like it to be used. He'd like you to pay attention to it. So then so if that helps, I hope it does. And take my advice, let me know what happens. I know you will because you write me frequently and let me know what's going on. The other question I had for today was from Silky Pink Purse, Silky Pink Rose. And I don't know why I said purse, but Silky Pink Rose. And you have today, I believe you said is your husband's, I don't know if it is today, I think it would have. I think you got one of those spell check things that screwed you up. So what I use when I'm looking at doing mediumship. I don't do a lot of mediumship, in case you don't know. It's one of my things. I just, it's not that I think it's not right. I just don't do it very often. But when I do mediumship, I use Talking to Heaven with James Van Praagh, his deck. And I'm going to ask for your husband's message for you today. And I hope you get this. And anyway, okay, I'm going to shuffle them and pull one. And I actually got this deck because I read cards at an art show where this woman she had a medium she was working with, and she would get the stories of the person who was departed, and she would paint portraits of them. And apparently, according to the families who knew the people in the portraits, they were very much like their family members. And so we're going to swap these. Okay. And so I got this deck because she said they'll be asking about dead people, and that was my way of handling it. Okay. Top card. The earth is our school. Let's see. Okay, the earth is our school. And what that card translates to, his descriptions are really good. And when I did that show, I had no idea how accurate these cards were going to be till I was there. And everybody seemed to think they were spot on. But the earth is our schools. We often forget when living in the physical body, the earth isn't our true home. Heaven is. Heaven is a lot like earth with people, animals, flowers, trees, such. But the difference is up here, there is no competition to meet physical needs. After all, you don't have to eat or pay taxes in heaven. You do have responsibilities, and we all have, but they're part of your life purpose, so they're joyful. For this reason, everyone in heaven is relaxed, forgiving, happy, and loving. We go to earth to experience life in the physical body. It's like going away to a boarding school. Once you have a physical body and an ego becomes apparent, and everyone's is competing and struggling to take care of their own physical demands. But if you can rise above these energies, you can learn how to bring heaven's love to earth. It can take multiple lifetimes to grasp the simple but not so simple concept. Fortunately, I'm here to help you learn that what's really important for your spiritual growth is love, Love. The more you can see yourself and others through heaven's loving eyes, the more you will understand everyone's doing the best they can. You'll have the compassion for yourself and others, and that is when you have mastered your schoolwork. So I think this is what he's learned. The earth is our school, and I think he's sending a message to you on his birthday that it's a time to look at the world through loving eyes, and that's been his lesson that he learned there. And I think that's a lovely lesson. So now I'm going to go back and look through the questions and see if we got any. And if we didn't, this could be a very short show. Needs of love and light. Mama Bear, Mama Earth, Miriam. Hi, Miriam. Dr. Gail. Dr. Gail and I have been talking to each other. I know when he said Hogarth, I said, "You mean like the astrologer?" And they said yes. And I enjoy watching Hogarth. I think he's funny. Sometimes he does a lot of politics, and sometimes I think they make too light of how badly those politics are hurting us. Okay, we'll do a pet question. Okay, let's see. Why does Prince Charming's mom why is her doggy having health problems? Gotta find a deck. Do that with cards. besides being sick, the other stuff I've been doing this week is I signed up for a course, and I'll give you all the particulars on it once I sit through more of it. But it's a woman who takes all of the different elements um, in the different metaphysical areas, and she's pulled them together. And she was kidnapped. She was taught some tones and sounds and things from aliens. She's a healer, and she works with crystals. She works a lot of different things. So I was real interested. I was interested in her philosophy. I was interested in what she had to say about things. And I have been, I took one of, it's a 4-part module, and I'm only in the beginnings of one. So I'll let you know if I think it's worth doing anything with. And I'm also doing Lee Harris's Rebirth this week. So Prince Charming's mom's doggy. Well, he may not have Guardia, but he has something. This card always to me means illness of some sort. I was first thinking, was he getting into something around in your environment that was making him sick? But I think his problem is that he needs to rest. He needs to really be stopped from being so active. And I don't know what sort of a dog you have. I think it may be the one that I see on your avatar, but it's really needs to get him. And whoever your vet is not really testing for the right things. Let's see. I'm going to ask how sick he could get from this. Oh, he can get better, but if he doesn't get it sort of more under control, it's going to become a chronic problem for him. But this shows that someone's on the way with an answer. So you maybe by putting it out to the universe, you're going to find out what the answer is. But I don't sense that he's a real old dog, but I do sense that he needs more rest. He needs to be, and I watch wherever he's wandering, and I presume, I don't know where you live. Maybe he does backyards, but let's see. One more thing about that. No, it's not going to kill him. It is something that's in your environment around your house. There's like some bush or some trash can or some kind of critter spot. Anyway, that's what he's gotten into. And you need to find a vet who can take care of it, because if they can stop it now and get him cured. But, if they don't cure it soon, it's going to become a long-term problem that you don't probably want to deal with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Here, man. Okay. Okay, Diana, let's see. Let's see if we get a healthy pregnancy for this year. Get a healthy pregnancy this year. I don't think, they're putting them in themselves through IVF. So I presume they're working with doctors that know what they're doing. I get a feeling that they're not understanding everything they're saying to them. And they have to quit being so judgmental on each other about this whole issue. I'm going to roll the stones in the garden because it's better for telling time. But this shows that I have a friend who, she and her partner wanted to have a baby, and so she went through it, and she went to this place where she was living at the time, and it didn't produce very good results, so they actually moved back to a better place here. Okay. Okay. Sorry, my phone was ringing. They won't, if it's going to come, it's going to come in the fall. So they, if healthy pregnancy for them in this year would be at the very end of the year, because this is winter. What I see for them is kind of what thought I was seeing. They're dwelling a lot on things that have happened in the past, and that's they need to break from the previous past experiences in order to see a future. It's their own. I'm not blaming them for it not happening, but they have pessimism about it, and they're not really hearing what these doctors have. Now, the two most hopeful signs you have is the fact that their spirit is in their chakras, and their connection with spirit is needed in this situation, and spirit inspires their ability to create. They need to uplift their spirits a little bit more. And I know by the time you've done this 5 times, I can't even imagine what it's like to go through all that. But like my friend, finally, she sat down and she decided that she just wasn't being told something properly, and she went to a different place. Now, if they're trying it the 5th time with these people, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where they live. I don't know how many options they have. And this is for entertainment purposes only, because I don't even know who's working with them. I tell you, this is our most hopeful stone in the whole thing. If they may, I don't know about this time, but by fall, and I mean late fall and early winter, they'll know what's going on. But this is the best stone that they have of all of them, because it says things are setting into long-term patterns, which means things are changing. It's grounding changes are setting into long-term patterns. So if they get pregnant here, then I think it's going to be a fine and healthy pregnancy. But I think they need to take a long, hard look at who they're working with, or what they're being told, or what they're hearing. I just have a feeling they're not hearing everything like they should. Let's see if I have any other questions. Wait a minute. Hide current comment. Okay. If I sound a little discombobulated, it's for one, it's been sick all week. But the other thing is, I opened up my StreamYard and they wanted to re-verify I was who I said I was, which means you have to go back and reset every microphone, every camera, everything, which I just was not in the mood to do today. And it's big. Happy birthday to all the people who have birthdays in January. Oh, okay. I got bad news, Adrian. The house they were going to close on Thursday. Yeah, don't go into a house with mold. I actually that happens to be my one true complete allergy, but I'm going to look on will they be successful with the next house, because I'm going to tell you right now, I used to work with interior designers all over the state of Texas, and Texas is kind of known as mold central. And I had a lot of mold abatement companies that were industry partners in our association, and mold's nothing you want to mess with. It's just not a good thing. Okay. Will the next house they go find be in better shape? I wouldn't deal with mold, kids. Dear. Okay, maybe they're going to get this house. Let's see. Should they buy the house with mold? Once it gets abated, at least you know it's been treated for it. One of my lead designers was in her house and they were going to redo a part of it and they tore something out and found mold. And she and her family had to move out of the house that day. Had to move to they ended up living in a motel for a while, a hotel till they could find an apartment. They had to buy all new clothes. Everything that was in that house had to be destroyed. The whole house had to be undone and have the mold gotten out of it. Okay, this time I asked about this house. No wonder I got 5 no's the other one. Yeah, they can abate this. It's actually can turn out, it's not the goal they were looking for, but it's a lesson for them to learn. But this is yes, yes, no, no, yes, no. So it's their decision, but they're going to get it for a better price. I mean, it's going to work out better than if they went elsewhere. This says they should continue with this one. The first time I read, will they go on and look for a new house? And it said 5 no's. So this time it's saying that they should stay in the house that they're looking at. Hope that's helpful, Vicki. I just have heard nothing but bad news about mold in houses. Will my application for a city's grant renovate home lottery be selected in March? Okay. Pretty straightforward yes, no. Yes, absolutely. It's coming from you're finally trying to balance and temper some things out. I think people have lied to you in the past or were promising to do things they didn't do, so you're a little wary of all this. It's going to take a little longer than you think, but this is a complete transformation. It's going to be completely different, and this is a change of residence. You may need to move out of the house briefly while they're fixing it, or it may make it so that you can sell the house and be done with it. But it says, yes, they're going to come and renovate your house from that lottery. And that's a real yes, yes, yes. So I have some confidence in that one. I'm going to answer yes or no, but I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. So this ought to be I mean, when you have no idea of what you're looking at, it's a really test of your ability to read it. Okay. The question is the Philadelphia experiment done by the U.S. government true? Is that the ship that they tried to move and they ended up, people got, I may not be right. Okay. I'm going to say, is that true? That was done by the government. Is it true? It's partially true. And I'll tell you why I say it's partially true. There's 2 aces here. Someone was trying to do something with it. They ended up not doing it. They had a sense of better judgment. It was not something that was put in front of them. So there's truth to it at the base. Someone tried to make this happen. They looked at it and they decided not to because they used better judgment. But it's based on the nugget of the urban myth is true. Did it happen? It says no. They started to do it and then they didn't. Okay. Vicki said they'll probably go ahead because they've been through mold abatement and they know what it takes to do it. So, yeah, if you know what it is and where it is and you live in an area where that's successful, go for it. Yeah. Vicki knows you move to a hotel, you end up living and feeling like you want to walk around the rest of your life in a hazmat suit. Let's see. Okay. She wants to know, is this a year? Let's see if the stones see it as a yes. The stones don't do yes nos, but it'll say, well, I'm going to ask what season you'll be in your current home, to your new home. Okay. To a new home from selling your current home. Okay. Okay, very, very core issue for you because the stones have fallen all in the center. And fire. I think you've looked before. Don't be too tied to false energies of the past. I think you're going to feel some, you're going to need to break from your previous experiences and try looking at it from a new way, because you've been through this before. Your clarity's coming out of the earth, which means you're getting more and more clear about this all the time. And you have one in the near future. These are swifter moving energies. This is your values, which is grounding, which is in air. And I think you've tended in the past to fall in love with houses from your heart, and there are still some mental issues that you need, some mental thoughts you need to keep about seeing which house is clear. And I see this is so funny because your mind is here and your spirit's here, and they're those two stones are hitting three issues, and your spirit transforms your thinking and makes things become much clearer, and you have your spirit in the present and future, and your changes are happening right now, but they're not quite finished. And so at the center of this, and I'm going to see your body is in fire, water, and air. So it's your body's, you're ready for this move. Absolutely ready for this move. But you're going to find a house that's like a place that's sort of been always this kind of house you wanted to have. That's what this one's telling me about, something from your past. Water says that water means that things are moving away. So that would be moving away from the old house. But your thoughts are very well grounded, and your thoughts are up here with these parts. So in summary, what I would say is you're going to find the house that you've always kind of dreamed that you wanted to have. And when I see it's coming, it's going to be in the spring, and you'll be fully moved in by early summer. So I would say and that includes selling your house. This means really clearing the slates and moving in to a whole new deal. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the time travel experiment. I don't know. I'm of two minds about it. I think the stories that have come up about what happened, if you don't know about it, it's like they were trying to move a destroyer or some sort of big ship at the end of World War II in a time travel experiment. And supposedly people when it reappeared where it had been, people were caught in the walls, and it was very, very disruptive. And I think what I saw is true. People thought about doing it and then they didn't do it. But that was the projections of what would happen if they had done it. Okay, let's see. Am I ready? Career tech. That's a career question. Bridget G. Will my writing career take off? Yes and no. You're still working on trying to fit all the pieces together to make it go. But the things you plant will bear fruit. This is when he's upside down. He's quit contemplating it, that it started to bear fruit. There may be another part of what you write about that you need to be more informed about or better trained in. And don't get caught in the sort of crying over spilt milk. You just toughen yourself up for what's going to be happening. Because there's, for every, I had a friend who was extremely good in sales, which I am not good in, by the way. And she used to always say to me, she always took every no as she was just that much closer to the yes. That's what you have to do when you're in this situation. And you need to plot your money and your earnings out so that you're not so consumed with that. But let me see about this guy. It's coming. The money's definitely coming. Once you figure out how that last piece of information, which is what that's tied to that, there's the money, there's the moving forward, and there's being very locked up in a very comfortable situation. I think it's going to take off in the latter part of the year, but I'm going to throw the stones in and just see where they fall for you. We're in the winter now, spring, summer, fall. Yeah, it's going to be you're not going to, some stuff's going to rise, but the real push you're going to feel is in the late summer and fall. So don't get discouraged. It's there. It's just not, if you're like me, it's never as quickly as we would like it to happen. Okay, let's see. I'm going to see if there's any specific cause for your cat's illness. Do you have 5 cats? You had 5 cats? Because I'm seeing, if I add that up right, you had 3 older cats and you have 2 other cats that are getting sick. So see if there's some energy around your house. Well, some of it's related to the age of the cats, but and they're going mercifully quick so that they're not suffering. There is, let me see. Gotta get my, okay. Takes a while to get everything all out. Okay. Okay. If it swings away from me, it's saying yes, that there's something in some energetically is happening in and around your house. Something energetically happening in or around her house. Okay. Does this have to do with the cats being speeded up by the photonic shift? No. It's just this the natural course of these cats' lives. Do they have an undiagnosed illness among them, among the two that are left? It's an illness that could potentially have some treatment, but there is something in and around the house, and it could just be them. You know, people do that too. When one starts dying, then they all start deciding to go. So, um, I don't see them. Let's see. See if they. Man, I'm going to ask one more question for you. Will the cats get better? I see one getting better and one not, but I'm not sure if I'm seeing it right. Will the cats get better? One's going to make it to the spring, but I don't think both of them are going to be there. I just don't. Even if they're close to the same age, one of them has whatever they have is worse than the other. And I'm not a vet, and trust me, I don't play one on TV. I have a good friend who's an animal psychic, but she won't practice it, so you can't do anything about that. Tammy, okay. This is a person who has the haunted house. Tammy, that house is haunted. And it's haunted, I think, in part by your father's own energy because he didn't want it to sit there and not do anything with it. And it's very typical of a spiritual haunting. And if you go back and watch the beginning of the show, I'll talk about when my husband died and I sold the condo we lived in, and he didn't want it to sell. And once I went in and finally cleared it out, cleared it out energetically, it sold within a week of when I got the energy straightened out. So, girl, don't you ever watch Ghost Hunters or anything? I mean, everything you wrote in there was so typical of that. I was like, wow. And I've been in haunted places. They're not fun. Hi, Nancy. Oh, I've got 8 left. Well, you're going to have one of the 2 that are sick. One of them's going to make it, and the other one's not going to make it by spring. I'm going to show you what Nana process. I have a total of 8 left, and I think, like I said, if you say 2 are sick, one of those sick ones is not going to make it. The other one will, and you'll still have lots of cats. What can I say? Hi, Gigi. Hi, Angla. Just enjoy them while you have them. Okay, I can't read. From what you're saying, it's the house isn't habitable anymore. And mold, man, today is the day for mold. Ooh, I'm sure people in California are going to find out it's the day for mold. And mom doesn't want, and I take it that your mom doesn't want to have anything to do with the house. Want it. Okay. I told you to go through and say the violet flame, which will get rid of a lot of the negative energy that gets trapped when a place gets full of cigarette smoke and mold and all that other stuff. And I think he's telling you to get rid of it. I think he's telling you to sell the land for what the land's worth. Do whatever you need to do. If your mom doesn't want it, then cash it out for what you can. You know, if it's not habitable, it's not habitable. Okay, guys, anybody that's got a quick question, you need to put it up quickly, because otherwise, I get a break. I get to leave early. I like getting out of school early. Yay. I actually still have a 12-month to do today for somebody, and I'm still doing my 12 months. I am still doing my I'm still doing, my year-end thing, the 12 months. I'm going to be on Sunday with Scott Allen doing the political show, Spirit Sunday, and we're getting more and more stuff to talk about. But it's amazing, the topics are shifting away from the Orange Menace and his little crew, and going after their pubs, and some other things. No. Okay. I don't even have to lay a card. I don't have to say a thing. No. No, don't use the family Ouija board. Don't burn it. I don't know what you can do with it. See if you can find a good way to get rid of them. But no, do not do Ouija boards. Ouija boards give me the creeps. In the vintage store, we used to get a lot of vintage ones in, and I actually saw one of the boards fly across the room at the vintage store. So they are. The problem is that if you open a Ouija board, you have to know the ceremony to open it and then to close it. What happens is people don't close it, so everything in the world gets to filter through there. Okay, let's see. Okay, Bernie wants to know if she's going to be in her forever home soon. Now y'all come up with questions in the last 15 minutes, but I did ask for them. So. Will Vernie end up in my forever home soon, please? Yes. Yes. And part of the problem has been breaking away from where your family thinks you should live, but you're meeting the people at a place you're going to feel incredibly comfortable when you get there. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles you think you want, but it's a place where you can be strong, where you can build your spirit, and in the time of change we're going through. I see you now. You've gotten a lot more confident about feeling like you should go ahead with this. And this is a yes for you. And the only thing is, don't worry about the naysayers from your past. This card means going to see the family. If it's right side up, it means being with your old family in a positive way. In your case, it might be get away from your family the best you can. And it's not going to have every bell and whistle that you want, but it's going to be a house where you can be strong. And this is the most important card for you. This is people all getting into an endeavor and working on it and working it out well. So, and everybody's wanting to move. I tell you, the natives are getting restless, I tell you. Mad Who P wants to know if she will be able to buy, I shouldn't presume it's a woman, will be able to buy a house in this year, not his year, in the area where I live. Okay. I'm so glad to see you guys type as well as I do. Nope. Because something's coming up you don't know about that's going to change what your desire is of where you want to live. The Knights of Swords always means to me, when we're talking about moving, if it's like moving a job or moving a house, if he's right side up, yeah, the move's definitely there. If it's turned around, it means it's not there at all. This guy when he's right side up, you've got all the things you need to know what to do, but you haven't figured out how to put the puzzle together. When it's reversed, it means the puzzle is finally together. And this is that you haven't been able to connect with the right people. But this is the most key card in this reading for you. The High Priestess. Something is coming that even you don't know about, and that's going to change completely about where you think you want to live. That's exciting. Woo, mystery in our lives. Okay. Will there be an energy earth shift in the next few months? Yeah, the energy of the earth is shifting. I think it's to be closer to the end of 2024 that we're going to have the energy lines are going to start banging all over the place. But let's see. Just in general, we'll be in the next few months. In a few months, I'm making it 6 months because I like exact numbers. I was an accountant once. I remember exact numbers. Okay. No, and I'll tell you why, because they're still locked up in a lot of things. And I'm taking it that you mean energetic shifts that are not necessarily earthquakes. I don't like earthquakes. I've only been in a couple in Dallas, and those are the only couple they had in Dallas, and they were sort of weird. The world's not ready for it yet. It's healing. It has to get past a lot of sadness to get there, and I don't know which of these two. Is this one you or is this one you? Is that you? Nope, these aren't personifications of you. It's the earth. Mother Earth isn't healed enough and feeling strong enough, and there's not enough energy built up. But the more of us that become positive energetics in this world, the faster some of these shifts will come. But I don't think the next few months are going to do it. Okay, Vicki, just let me know. And if you book it, I guess I'll stretch it for you because you're such a sweetie. If you book it before the end of the month, and you can pay me when you have the money. I'm glad you like the show with Scott. I'm not sure I always like getting up in the crack of dawn, but I don't think I understand. I have a huge horror story about it. That may be mold. I'm not sure. Okay, Nancy. Maybe it was. I thought I already answered that one. I did for May Midu. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for the super sticker. Okay, we're going to ask if she's going to have another child. I think it's going to be later in this year, so don't get too discouraged. Daughter-in-law having another baby. There it is. There's the happy family, and that's your daughter-in-law. There's just so much tempestuousness that's gone on around her. I think what all of y'all need to do that are around her is picture her with a baby in her arms. I think there's been so much, it didn't work, and that kind of energy built up around things. This is a yes and a no, but it means you guys have to use your very, very best spidey sense, your very, very best high priestess qualities to make it happen. But that's her and the child. It should be there, but it's the energetics that surround her. I don't know whether it's her job or her husband's job, but something around her is making it more difficult. Okay. I'm not following that statement. I'll be back on next Tuesday. Maybe there's an outside chance I'll do another show Thursday. If you could write me a whole description so that I can understand the comments all the way, because you guys got to realize I'm trying to run a show, watch comments. No, Tammy, okay, and I'll help you also, or write me at I'm gonna put my email address. And I'm sure Sharon has put it in here several times. No. She's very good about that. This is my Gmail. If you want to write me a Gmail so I can look at it with more understanding, I'll send you back an answer. And actually, this Saturday, I'm teaching a garden class. And when I get questions I can't understand, or I don't have a chance to look at, or they come up and it gives my gardeners a chance to read on it too. Yeah, Tammy says she watches all the all the paranormal shows. So she just want to make sure her feelings were true. Yeah, I mean, what you wrote me was textbook for being with them. Thank you, Madhu. I was a question I put in comments. If Joanne, if it wasn't, you've got my email now. Send it to me as an email, and I'll make sure it's in Thursday's show. If I go ahead and do Thursday's show, I don't remember seeing anything in the comments. Okay, Bridget wants to know if her wife's going to settle with the boss. Oh, all y'all, 11 o'clock my time tomorrow. Send some golden light towards me. I go to see my cardiologist. He's a lovely man. His aunt's a psychic in India. So he keeps saying, I know you guys are wired differently, but we have some looking to do. I don't have any symptoms. It's a follow-up on what was happening last year. So, and they let me go that time. And all I take for my heart is hibiscus tea and aspirin. So, and I haven't had any heart problems except for maybe eating too much, but other than that. I think when she started at this job, she thought it was really good. This says, will the problems be settled? They'll be somewhat settled, but there'll always be problems. She needs to be making a plan, and she's just very wary about moving from that job. And I wouldn't move from that job till she secured another one. But I don't see this person. This guy likes to stir the pot and make problems. Okay. And I got one more. My dog keeps popping her head up and starts wagging her tail. And who's there? Who's there? Okay, let's see. I'm going to do a Spirit 7 and see if I can see who's really there. Okay. Background on this thing is It's a spirit that lived in your area that had a lot of troubles and has never learned how to stop. They could never make up their mind about anything. If this sounds like anyone you know, they may even have spent time in jail or being locked up, or this is some institution of some sort. And that's who's coming back, and they're trying to, am I going to use the right word? They're not exactly a vampire. They're just an energy source that wants to suck off of you. And they're coming to try to visit you, and they're not there to comfort you. So next time you see the dog doing that, I'd say, if you know who it is, if you think you have a name that matches with that, and even the nicest of families have someone that was the black sheep. If you had a black sheep in your family that's gone to the other side, that's who it is. And they're not going to harm you. They just want to come back and be in a place they feel safe, but they should not be in your space. Okay. Yeah, don't burn it. They will cause you problems. Okay. So I'm saying bye-bye, guys. I don't know. Bernie, it's some kind of entity that's either attached to the property, attached to you, and it's I don't, the reading I did on it wasn't necessarily, it can't harm you. It's not I did lay, that's the 3 cards I put in the middle. It can't hurt you. It just doesn't have any reason to be there. And with that, I will say a fond farewell and goodbye to everybody, and hope your days are calmer and you can avoid the table. I'm going to tell you, avoid trouble. I'm going to tell you right now, COVID is not over, not by a long shot. And we've got about one more good round of it coming. And so take care of yourselves, because I need every subscriber I have. I really do. And if you can think of other people who'd like to join, I sold a garden this week. Yay, I have a new gardener coming in. So I want to thank everybody for being there. And I will keep these questions, and I'll write some of them down and put them in my Saturday. I'll have answers for you from that group next Tuesday, but I may be back on next Thursday. So watch out and see if my little notice shows up. Bye.